Okay, I have an update for you guys. This is Aeries with the Google Classroom assignment sync. It's pretty neat feature, but there's a very specific way you have to set up your classes. If you don't follow that order, then you'll have things that are missing, like your assignments will be missing, or your students will be missing, or all kinds of stuff could happen. So the order that you need to set things up is the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to your gradebook, and then you're going to want to add a gradebook. And once you add a grade book, this is going to be for a fall semester class. It's going to be period 2, Intro to Engineering and Design. And then I click Save. The next thing you're going to want to do, and let's go ahead and close that. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add your students or add your categories. Either one doesn't matter. That order is not important. Let's go ahead and add my students. So I just click on Add Students. And here are all of my students. From there, I click Add All Students. Once those are added, then you're going to want to add categories. And a lot of people have been asking about weighted scoring. I don't do weighted scoring, so that's something that you're going to have to explore yourself. Don't be afraid to explore. If anything happens while you're setting up your Aeries, you can always delete the classroom or delete the grade book, that particular grade book. So then I'm going to go to categories. I'm going to add a new category, and for simplicity, I just put work. And I click save. I don't do weighted scoring. Once it's saved, so you've gone from editing your gradebook or adding your gradebook to adding your students to adding your categories. You can go back to your dashboard at this point in time, and you notice that the class showed up. So if the class is here, it's showing up. And since the class is showing up, I can go ahead and import assignments from Google. Now, the more assignments that you have, the longer this process will take. And there is an option, if enabled, to have this automatically sync overnight. You can do it yourself. You can input your grades before you go to bed, and when you wake up in the morning, once you have a lot of assignments, it should be done for you. So here it's checking on Google. There's 10 assignments, but in my gradebook there's 0 assignments because I have not clicked import. I only want to do that one class because this is the only class that assignments have not been imported thus far. I do have for my other 2 classes. So then I click import. And now it's checking Google to see if there's any classes there. While this is syncing, I've had to go back. This is a learning process for everybody, so I've actually had to go back and delete grade books if I haven't set them up in the proper order. And then once I get the grade books set up in the proper order, it syncs. So you can see that this is only 10 assignments and how long these 10 assignments are taking to update. So this would be real important for us to be able to do overnight. So doing it overnight or before you go to bed or start at the beginning of dinner, it should be done by the time you get done with dinner. So then it checked Google, saw that there was 10 assignments and imported those 10 assignments into Aeries. Go back to my dashboard if I'd like, and then I can click on class for period 2. And there's all my assignments have shown up. I don't have them all graded. Once I grade them in Aeries, I can go back and import those grades simply by clicking import assignments. And I'll show you that in just a moment. Okay, so you'll notice again that um, the grades are not here for my assignments because I didn't have them graded. I went ahead and graded those grades so that I can show you what happens when you do go back and grade something and you add those scores, what will end up happening. So let me go ahead and show you by going back to the dashboard. And then I'm going to go to this import assignments from Google. Once I go to import assignments from Google, the next thing that I'm going to do is import just those assignments from period 2. And again, this process takes a minute because it has to go, it has to go and look at all of your assignments and see what's new, what's been added, what hasn't been added. And after this, I'll show you one student. What happens if one student turns in an assignment late and I go back and grade it? What Aeries will do. Okay, so now it's finishing up. Just check Google to see what assignments were added. Notice this number hasn't changed because I didn't add any additional assignments. I just added grades to my assignments. So once I've added those grades, I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like after the grades have been added. So I'll go to period 2 and I'll check by class. And notice now these grades are filled in for these particular assignments that I actually have graded. You still have to go back and mark them as done. So is grading complete? Yes. And I still have to go mark it's grading complete? Yes. And you'll have to go through and do all that grading complete stuff. And I'm going to do that for one more assignment just so you can see what will happen if I add, actually I'll do it for all of them, and then you can see what will happen if I go back and add in scores for students who turned in assignments late. Grading complete. Okay, so the assignment that I want you to pay attention to is the one that says Google profile picture. I have my students change their profile picture to an avatar, digital version of themselves. So when I do recordings like this, I don't have to worry about something being inappropriate or it being their face. So pay attention to this one right here. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and click the import from Google for period 2. So I'm going to import from Google, and then I'll cut it so that you don't have to wait for the whole import process. You can see what it does. Okay, so it's finished getting all of my assignments. And now I'm going to go ahead over to dashboard so that you can see what has happened to that one assignment. So we go to class, period 2. And now what it's done is it's gone to Google profile pic and it's added those students that have completed that assignment. There's still a few students who have not completed these assignments, and I do give them for the first week, I give them a little extra time. And so once they do, then it will go ahead and add it in here. That's that's a feature that's kind of cool for this because you don't have to go back and physically find them once you've graded their assignments. So remember that when you set it up to follow the very specific process for setting up your classrooms. So remember that, or I'm sorry, your grade books. Remember that you have to set up the grade books properly in order for these assignments to be imported. And that you also have to use the Google Classrooms that the district has created for you. Otherwise, you won't see that option to sync to gradebook. So it's real important to use the district classrooms that were established for you. Do not create new classrooms through Aeries like you've done in the past. Alrighty.